But rain can be advantageous. You know when? When you try to hammer out a deal for Aaron Judge.
Oh, God. Here we go.
It's an extra window. You think I'm kidding? It's an extra window. It's an extra 24 hours to get this thing done,
But
Barber.
don't you think that if the Yankees were motivated to have Aaron Judge be long-term with this team with a long-term deal where he's happy because he's been underpaid for so many years after finishing a couple times in the top 10 for the MVP, including getting stolen by Altuve one year, they would have got this done already? So they're going to push it back. They're going to push it back a day, and now all of a sudden we feel like they're going to come to some conclusion. I don't think so, BT. I think this is seriously at risk.
So you're still taking the position that this thing bleeds into the season, which it might.
I do.
But then, as you said yesterday, that it opens up a window for other teams to jump in at the end of the year, and this could be the end of Aaron Judge with the Yankees. You're sticking with that.
Don't misconstrue my point. I want Aaron Judge to be a Yankee. I hope that he's a Yankee forever because he's exactly what the Yankees have been talking about for the last 3 or 4 years while not spending money. We need to build up our farm system, and we need to reward these guys that become star players. I'm just saying from a practical standpoint, if you're Aaron Judge and this doesn't get resolved to your liking, to where you feel like you're getting what you deserve, and it doesn't get done before the season starts, somebody's going to come offer him a ton of money that the Yankees are probably not going to be able to keep up with.
But see, that's what we need to explore. Why? Yeah. Why would the Yankees not match that?
Because they're not. Because here's the
well, if that happens, you know what my position is.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're no longer a Yankees fan.
If that happens, I said this yesterday on the show. Hold on one sec, though. If the Yankees don't, well, go ahead. Just it's within this. Go ahead. If Judge is healthy and Judge has another big season, a superstar who does everything right, low maintenance, and they let him go, I'm not sure I could be a Yankee fan anymore. That's it. Yankees don't care about that threat.
No, of course
it's not even a threat. It's what's going to happen.
But how many?
Now, again, if they let him go, if he's productive and healthy, not he misses 47 games with an oblique and they don't know what to do. If he mashes and he walks and the Yankees don't match an offer or exceed one, that's it.
I don't know how the Yankees have not signed him to a long-term deal already.
It's complex.
That's all I'm saying.
That's why.
It is complex.
It's complex. But first of all, there was a lockout.
Okay. Yes, but
which complicated the whole thing.
Before there was a lockout, there wasn't we have a deal that we're constructing and putting in place for Aaron Judge. I mean, the whole offseason, the season ends in October. You know what I mean? So we have 2 months. They don't really talk about this. Now, maybe they were all preparing for the lockout, but they don't present him with a deal. We get into the lockout, and we had Sweeney Murdy on, right, when we first started the show.
Yes.
And Sweeney told us, now whether, I don't know if he was right on this or not, but he said Aaron Judge at this moment is not the priority.
So he was dead right because it's not done yet.
Exactly.
But they had other things to do. That's before they got IKF. That's while they were trying to navigate the first base market. I agreed with that. Didn't worry me when Sweeney said that.
At the end of the day, ignoring Aaron Judge.
You're not ignored him.
Okay.
Well, here's what you do. You call
You haven't signed a deal yet.
But
so it's not as important as it should be.
But you don't ignore the guy. You call up Judge's camp. You say, listen, guys, he's our guy. We're going to get this done. Sit with us. Let us handle some business. Get the season in order.
And you know what?
Let us construct the roster. We'll be back. And they came back with an offer.
And you know what he said? Bleep you, pay me.
Well, listen, I think this is a lot about nothing. I'm not worried. I'm not even. Listen, I'm asserting certain things on the air, but I'm not even remotely worried that this thing gets done.
BT, I hope
it's
you're
going to get done.
I don't want to be right here. I'm just saying that if they don't sign him before the start of the regular season, which was let's call it artificial deadline, because is it really ever a deadline? No. But it is. He set an artificial deadline for the start of the regular season. Yes, now we have another day, Friday, because they have postponed opening day. You have another day to get this done, but you've had 2 weeks almost to get this done since the original offer was given. Of course, it's a lot of money, but you should have an idea.
They do. That's why they gave an offer over about $215 million. But that's the idea. That's the parameter.
But I think
they have an idea.
But I think Aaron Judge has a different idea of what he thinks his worth is.
That might be the case
because he's been toiling for 7 years, and this is his first and only time he's going to make real money. And they better come correct. That's all we're saying.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney show here on the Fan inside the Town Fair Tire studio. You like that, Dove? You didn't have to tell me, buddy. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Now, this is why this is so different, though. I do want to weave in something that could be interesting / disconcerting if you're a Monster Judge fan.
Yep.
And if you're a Yankee fan, you are. Listen, the Daniel Jones situation, Giants don't know if he's the guy.
No.
The Jets with Darnold, they just didn't know, and then eventually they did know that he was not the guy. There's nothing complex about this outside of navigating his injury history. That's it. Because the history of the Yankees has been such, if they have a player, especially one who they drafted and developed, and becomes a star, and in his case a superstar, the only time that guy walks is if they don't want him, like Cano. And let's face it, they had to know that Cano was, or suspect that there was some dabbling with whatever.
Yes.
This, to me, is so cut and dried. He gets the deal. He gets named the next Yankee captain. Boom. He becomes a Hall of Famer in, 15, 20 years.
Cut and dry.
That's what I see.
Cut and dry, but still no deal. That's what you're saying. It's cut and dry. You're making it simple.
Did the season start yet?
It hasn't.
Okay.
You have an extra day.
Did the season start yet?
It has not.
That's all I'm
you
saying.
have an extra day. On Friday morning at 10 o'clock, they're not.
When we're in the Bronx?
They're not hammering out this deal. Like, oh, we got it done.
Nope,
All right,
you're
here
right.
we go. Here we go.
You're right.
Sign it on the. Woo. Oh, I got that in just
that was
in time.
close.
Man, that was close. Man.
You're right. It won't be at 10 o'clock. It'll be on Thursday night at about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
When it trickles out, the judges are resigning for 7 years with an option
Wait, are you
for $235 million.
Are you positing a conspiracy theory here that the real reason the Yankees delayed opening day was so they could get?
The real issue is that the weather sucks.
I'm joking.
And by the way, credit to the Yankees. Now, I know that unfortunately this affects some people on Friday that had plans to go on Thursday.
Yeah.
You rearrange the schedule. I get that. I'm sensitive to it.
My birthday was on Thursday. Opening day was going to be
It's
amazing.
not a benchmark birthday. Who cares? You're not 40, you're not 50,
but
whatever.
for me, it would have been a big deal. My first opening day on my birthday. I've never been to an opening day, BT.
Oh, man.
You've been to many.
Right.
I didn't grow up a baseball fan like you did. I had to watch the Atlanta Braves from TBS to even care about baseball.
Now batting Dale Murphy.
Exactly.
My mom used to let me stay home from school.
Glenn Hubbard.
Yeah. My mom used to let me stay home from school. There was a point where I actually did the whole let me stick my skin on the light bulb and try to fool her. And then I swear to God. Now, as it got deeper, you get to
actually work.
Well, the first I think she knew.
Yeah.
And she let me stay home and watch the Mets too. Like opening day is. I remember sitting on my couch in the basement. I guess it was '83 when Tom Seaver came back to pitch. It was '83, and I could still see Tom, older Tom, walking from the bullpen in right field. I guess it was right field. And he's got that blue satin jacket on when he came back to pitch for the Mets. And, opening day is where it's at. And Craig and I were talking about this, and we totally agree. If you are, now do what you need to do as a parent, obviously.
Yeah.
But if
School's important to you. Make your kid go to school.
Yeah. Well, stop. It's not that important. Let me ask you this, because this is what Craig and I were saying.
Yeah.
What will you learn in that one random day of school that will supersede the memories you create with mom, dad, uncle, brother, whomever in Queens or in the Bronx?
It depends on how old they are.
Nothing.
But you could be getting into the intricacies of the Pythagorean theorem. You know what I mean? You just missed out on that. You never understand it again.
You're gonna take another L on this, aren't you?
I'm just joking.
877-337-6666. Now, the one thing to consider, and then we'll get these calls. Listen, you want to tell me it's not done by opening day? Okay, I can believe that, though I do think it will bleed into the season and absolutely get done. If you want to tell me, and I've heard a little bit of this, but this I can't feel this on any level. If they don't get a deal done and the Yankees are not playing Chris baseball, trade Aaron Judge. That is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard.
You might get a lot.
You might, but that's not the point.
No.
You just don't do it.
I can't even speculate that.
No, some people have said that.
I would not even speculate.
Okay. Let's get to start things going. Mark's in Farmingdale on the Fan. Mark, what's happening?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's up, Mark?
Hey,
we spoke last week. I said 8 years, $300 million. That's what Judge is looking for. I don't know. It seems like he might be looking for something like that. And just real quick, Cashman has done really nothing this offseason, right? So we all know his main priority is to re-sign Judge, and he's going to do whatever it takes.
Well, the only thing that I would challenge, Mark, is I wouldn't say that he's done nothing. He hasn't necessarily satisfied our at times unreasonable demands, but he brought in a much better defensive shortstop. He did some things, honestly.
Yeah.
Better contact rate, things we've talked about. They solidified the catching position.
It doesn't
by getting
feel
rid of
like
that
it's
bum.
keeping up with everybody else who's spending a lot of money, so it feels like nothing, relatively speaking. But I mean, he's improved the roster, I would say.
I think he has a little bit, marginally better. And listen, they were a wild card team a year ago, so with marginal growth, and by the way, now hopefully a healthy Severino. The Yankees are going to be good. It's just what we've debated since we started in January. Are they good enough to win the World Series? Mike is in New Haven, Connecticut. Mike is on the fan. Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Mike.
Listen, real quick, you're talking about Judge and all that. I never understand the way they negotiate these contracts. I don't get why they don't lock up these young superstars when they're younger.
Yeah.
Instead of, they're inevitably going to give them the money, but then, like, you're talking about how long are they going to last health-wise?
Yeah, well, it costs you more.
Give them the $300 million when they're younger.
It costs you more when you wait. That's the problem. That's why you've seen that with a couple of Soto was this way, and I mean,
Acuna did this. They bought him out early, got $100 million.
You see this a little bit with other teams, but the Yankees are notoriously I don't know, what do we call this?
Buying out years of arbitration?
Yeah, they don't do that.
No,
right?
I mean, really. Severino they did it with, and his contract, and Hicks's contract was, but that's not arbitrate necessarily.
Yeah, but
different.
those were such smaller contracts, though. I mean,
but it's still the premise. It's still the concept. It's still an organizational philosophy.
And because of how those things worked out health-wise, right? Hicks was hurt. He was hurt a lot. Severino's been hurt a lot. So the two guys that they did actually pay, they haven't got
which
the
is why
value.
You don't give Judge.
Yeah, but Judge is different.
A couple of $100 million before you have to.
But Judge is so much different.
He's been hurt too.
He's been hurt, but when he's been healthy, he's elite.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess Severino's in that category as well. Pitchers are a little bit different because of the fickle nature of guys who have arm injuries, but when he's been healthy, he's been elite. Aaron Judge,
I agree,
and
superstar,
and he's a superstar. There's no reason they should have waited this long to get this done because now you're up against it. Now your back's against the wall against an artificial deadline, whether it's artificial or not, but it's a deadline that Judge's camp has set. And again, it could get to the end of the season, and Aaron Judge could end up being a Yankee with a $300 million deal, like the first caller just said, 37.5 AAV over the course of 8 years, whatever it may. But he's also going to get a ton of offers from other teams wanting a star, and maybe even those out west where he's from, which could put a little bit of extra juice on it, even if the number isn't even significantly higher.
Listen, one of the things that I think people do too often is that they elevate an all-star without real justification to superstar status.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge is a superstar.
That's right.
Like, he is a flat-out superstar who sells tickets, never in trouble, the face of the organization, and the next Yankee captain. Now, I'll tell you this, though, and I do think that this has been missed a little bit in the entire conversation. We know the risk on the part of the Yankees, okay? But that's not to infer that there's not risk on Judge's side as well. If Judge doesn't, let's say it's not done by Friday, and let's say he really does stick to his edict of, if it's not done by opening day, I'm done, and I'll catch you at the end of the season. I don't believe that, but if that actually happens.
Why don't you believe that?
Because I just think money talks, and I think if they come correct, and I know he wants to be a Yankee, and if the deal is commensurate with his value and others around the league, I think he's going to sign it. But the Yankees have risk of him possibly walking. All right, and worst case scenario, them getting nothing for him, except I think a compensatory pick, but whatever. But the risk that Judge has, and this is what people aren't weighing, which is why I'm not buying his threat, is that he is injury prone. And if he gets hurt this year, he might not even get what the Yankees offered last week.
Yeah, but when you say injury prone, what does that mean?
It means he misses games.
Well,
you can parse this all you want.
But
if you miss games, you miss games.
But I think it matters, like why you missed games.
Okay, I know. Soft tissue versus bad luck. I get that.
Well, not even that. I mean, some of it was COVID last year, and then some of it was, he had a calf injury. One was an intercostal because he dove in a game and was misdiagnosed. So maybe we should blame the Yankee.
The broken ribs.
It was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
Not a year. It was a season prior. and then it manifested itself a year later. So like it's things.
Okay, when you're 6'8" and you dive in the outfield, things happen that didn't happen to, I don't know, Brett Gardner or Mookie Wilson when you're small.
But in real time, it wasn't an issue.
I'm just saying there's risk for Aaron Judge that people aren't illuminating.
Yeah, but
everything is the Yankees. Aaron Judge has missed a lot of baseball.
Yeah, but
it's a fact.
I think when he was young, he played hard, and that's why you loved him.
That's why I love Aaron Judge.
But just like with Bryce Harper, remember Bryce Harper in his first couple of years, he was like running into walls.
Yeah,
like he was like, bro, calm down, man. You're supposed to be the MVP. You can't miss 5 or 6 games here and there because you had to make that play on the game 12, right, and run into the wall, right. And so he learned how to take better control of better care of his body. And Aaron Judge, I think, is the same way. You're not going to see him laying out for a ball like he did 3 years ago and fracture a rib that's going to cause some, I don't know, oblique injury 8 months later. So there's nuance in the injuries.
I understand that.
And I know he's missed time, but I can't say that he's like a bad sell guy. You know, I always use the bad sell thing for guys that just constantly get hurt in the NFL. It doesn't really apply to other sports, but I don't see him as that kind of athlete, if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't either. But again,
you keep saying he's injury prone.
Well, no, I'm just pointing out fact.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it was semantics in terms of the usage of the word. Yeah. Injury prone, unlucky, a little combination of both, whatever.
But
he's missed X amount of games.
But do you think that's really what's stopping the Yankees from signing him?
I think that and his age. Yes.
He's 30.
Okay.
30 is not old anymore.
It's not young if you want a 9-year contract. I don't know what he wants.
I mean, Mookie Betts got a 9-year contract.
Mookie Betts wasn't 30 when he signed the contract.
True, but it goes until he's 40 years old. If Aaron Judge wants to play until he's 38 years old, because
whose body's going to age better, Mookie Betts, who's 6 feet, or Aaron Judge, who looks like Hulk Hogan?
I mean,
you know the answer to that question.
I want to say Mookie Betts.
Okay,
I want to
because that's the answer.
I want to, but
that's the answer.
But health and fitness and it's changed, man.
All right,
these guys stay healthy so much longer. So I don't know. I can't predict that. I'm not going to go on the record and say Aaron Judge is going to break down before Mookie Betts.
I'm just saying.
I don't necessarily believe that.
I don't either. But Mookie
Betts is going to have to play every day. Aaron Judge is going to start being a DH in 5 years.
Well, then why the hell would you give him all that money for a DH? That's another part of the conversation. Half of his value is one of the best fielders in baseball.
If you knew that Big Papi could,
but
Big
Papi wasn't a good first baseman either.
It doesn't matter.
Judge is an elite right fielder. He's Dave Winfield.
At 36 years old, so not 35. 36 years old, he's like, all right, I'll play sparingly here in the outfield, and I'll just mash as a DH. Mm-hmm. Is that valuable to you?
Of course it is.
Exactly.
Of course
so
it is.
What are we waiting for? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying.
All right. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney show here on The Fan.